Hey everybody, it's Brad from the Big Family Homestead, and in this video I have another true story from being in a Christian rock band on the road. So, well, here we go. So most of you know that I was in a Christian rock band that toured and did the whole tour bus thing and flying all around and hits on the radio and all that jazz. And this story is one that is a true story, Scout's honor, so help me Brad. Because I'm Brad. But a lot of people don't believe that the stuff that you can get into, seemingly innocent things, and then you make one decision and another, and all of a sudden you're in a situation that is frankly kind of crazy and odd. And this is one of those cases where one problem happened, and then you make the decision. You make a decision based on the information you have, and then another decision is made, and another decision is made, and then finally you find out, whoa, how did we end up here? So, the story starts out, we have a van and a trailer, and we had to play some shows up the middle of the eastern seaboard-ish area, but we ended up in Pennsylvania, and we were cutting across Pennsylvania, heading to the Diocese of Baltimore. Now, this was a very, very important gig for us because we hadn't been making a lot of money, and that was really going to be our payoff, which made it worthwhile financially to do the tour. So, you know, if we didn't get there, because we had about 4 gigs that were all, you know, one day, next day, next day, next day, and they were all pretty lucrative paying gigs, so that was going to pay for everything. However, we did not foresee what happens next. And what next is we're about 3/4 of the way through Pennsylvania, and our van blows up. Poof. We finally find a guy who can actually take care of the van, and the problem is he's doing the work on it. It's the transmission. And where we were in a very rural area, and he's like, I can't get this fixed for a week. We're like, we got to get to Baltimore. He's like, I can only do what I can do, dude. And so we panicked, and we're making phone calls and stuff, and the guy comes back, and he says, you know what, this might not be the best situation for you, but I got a friend who is selling a van that's like an open cargo van that you could probably, you know, buy from him pretty cheap, get to your shows, and then by the time your shows are done, I can have this van repaired, and then you guys can be on your merry way. And we thought, that's a pretty good idea. So we go to this place with this friend of the mechanic, and it was one of those weird, like Scooby-Doo looking creeper man vans where it's like all 70s dark stripes on the side and the bubble windows out on the sides, and then no other windows on the sides of the van. Total creeper van. But we get there and we check it out, and it appears to be running fine, and so we agree on a price, and it seemed like a good deal for us. And as we paid the guy and we're getting the title, all the stuff taken care of, he goes, whoa, dude, you would not believe how many pounds of marijuana we smoked in there. And we're like, what? Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, man, we were all the time. We're like, okay, this could add a whole new level of excitement to our trip. Thinking, what if there's residue in here, or maybe there's actual pot in the van somewhere. So we were doing our best to clean it all out. And then we end up getting our trailer and getting to the Diocese of Baltimore, in which we started playing these shows. Well, we ended up talking to the leadership in the Diocese of Baltimore, and they were so stricken with desire to help us out that they said, you know what? What about that van that's over such and such parish? Isn't that getting ready to be decommissioned? And then they're like, yeah. So they, all of a sudden, out of the kindness of their hearts, they decide to give us a van. And we're like, oh, thank God, praise Jesus. And it's a nice van. It's got actual real life seats in it. And you didn't have to sit on boxes of gear or, you know, whatever. And so we just thought this was, and it had air conditioning. That's real nice. So we finished playing the shows, and the guy fixes up the other van to the point where it still doesn't work. He thought he had it right. He did not have it right. So here was our plan. Now this is where it starts to get a little funny. Our plan was to take, because we got 2 working vans in Baltimore, right? So we got the pot van and the one they just gave us. So the plan was drive one of the vans over back to the place in Pennsylvania, get a car tower, tow that van with a good van back to us, and then we'll leave and go back down to Florida. Sounds pretty good, right? So you got 2 living vans, a dead van, and a trailer. Now, we're in Augusta, Georgia, and all of a sudden, guess what? The nice new van that the Catholic diocese gave us, new, it wasn't brand new, it was like new to us. It blows up. We barely make it off the side of the road into a truck stop, and now we're stuck with 1 working van, 2 dead vans, and a trailer. Well, the thing was this. Fortunately, we had a friend who was a mechanic who lived in Central Florida, and he's like, well, you know what? If you leave that trailer in the busted van, I need to use that trailer because I'll go and get the parts and stuff that I need, that I'm gonna need it. Bottom line, he needs it. So we said, okay, here's the plan. We'll pull all of our gear that's essential out of the trailer, put it into the pot van, because that's the only working van we have now, and everybody would climb on top of the gear in the van. And so we had, well, let's see, there was 4, 5 of us, 6 of us. Yeah, 6 of us in this van, and only about this much headroom between equipment and the top of the van. And so we start heading home. This is where it gets even better. So it's about 1:30 in the morning, and we are just south of Gainesville, and that's really nice because we just lived in Bradenton at the time, and we're just south of Gainesville, so we're like, oh man, it's gonna be like an hour and a half and we're home, and just so excited. And you know, guys in the back are sleeping, and wouldn't you know it, the lights are lighting up. Oh man, we're getting pulled over. We're like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna talk our way out of this? I mean, what does this even look like? And so sure enough, pull over to the side, and you would not believe it. It was a K-9 unit. We were like, we are going to jail, and we did not bring the pot in here. It was not our pot. We have no pot. We don't want pot. They're not going to believe us. Sure enough. So the officer comes over, starts rolling down the window, and he just flashes his lights in there and looks at the guy sleeping, and it's clear that we're a band, and we thought, oh man, we're going to jail. And so I start explaining. I'm like, officer, I promise you, I swear to you, this is the truth. And I started telling the story. And about, a minute through, we're talking about the blown up vans and this and that. He goes, guys, just get out of here. Just watch your speed, okay? and so we got off and we thought we were going to be in serious trouble. And there's the story. Scout's honor, it's all true. Now, here's the thing. I guess if you had a moral to the story, it would be, don't buy a junky van because it's going to blow up on you. And then you're going to have a pot van, and you're going to have to try and explain your way out of it to an officer who's a canine officer, and you don't want to be in that situation. So buy a nice van, don't buy a pot van. The end. I'm Brad. If you like the story, let me know. Yada, yada, yippee, skippy. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it does help my family out. I'm Brad with the Big Family Homestead. You have an amazing day.